Taking action in the face of fear. Fear is an inevitable part of life, especially when we are faced with important decisions or new challenges. Whether it's the fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of the unknown, it can be paralyzing. When we feel this fear, it's easy to become immobilized, putting off actions that could help us move forward. But what if instead of allowing fear to control us, we could learn to act in spite of it? What if we could take small, courageous steps that lead to momentum, turning inaction into motivation and fear into fuel for growth? Understanding the nature of fear. Fear is often misunderstood as a purely negative emotion. While it's true that fear can hold us back, it also serves a vital purpose. Fear is a protective mechanism. Our brains are wired to help us avoid danger and protect ourselves. But not all fears are rooted in actual danger. The fear of rejection, failure, or uncertainty about the future are natural responses to stepping outside of our comfort zones. The challenge, then, is distinguishing between fears that are truly threatening and those that are simply obstacles to growth. The key is to recognize that fear doesn't have to stop you from moving forward. It's not the absence of fear that leads to action. It's the willingness to act despite it. The power of small, courageous steps. One of the most powerful strategies for overcoming fear is to focus on small, courageous steps. When you think about your goals or the actions you need to take, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the magnitude of what lies ahead. This sense of overwhelm can often paralyze us, leading to procrastination or avoidance. However, if you break down the larger task into smaller, manageable steps, the challenge becomes less intimidating. These small steps don't require you to conquer your fear all at once. Instead, they allow you to confront fear incrementally, building confidence and momentum along the way. Each small action you take becomes a victory, reinforcing the belief that you are capable and strong enough to continue moving forward. For example, if you're fearful about speaking in public, don't start by committing to a large presentation. Instead, start by speaking in front of a small group of friends or colleagues. Gradually, as you experience success in these smaller scenarios, your confidence will grow and your fear will begin to lose its power, turning inaction into motivation. Procrastination often accompanies fear. When we are afraid of failing, making mistakes, or not being good enough, it's tempting to avoid taking any action at all. But this inaction creates a cycle of self-doubt and frustration. The longer we put things off, the bigger the fear seems, and the more immobilized we become. The key to breaking this cycle is to turn inaction into motivation. 1. Start before you're ready. One of the biggest misconceptions people have is that they need to feel fully ready before taking action. The truth is, you'll rarely feel 100% prepared. Taking action often creates the momentum you need to push past fear. Start with something small, even if it doesn't feel perfect. The act of doing something, no matter how small, will break the paralysis of inaction and give you the confidence to keep going. For example, if you've been putting off starting a new project because you're afraid it won't be perfect, commit to spending just 10 minutes working on it. This small, manageable amount of time lowers the stakes and allows you to dip your toes in without feeling overwhelmed. 2. Shift your focus to progress, not perfection. Fear of failure often leads to a fear of imperfection. We hold back from taking action because we want everything to be flawless. But striving for perfection can actually prevent us from making progress. Instead of focusing on the outcome, shift your mindset to focus on the process of progress. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this step, even if it doesn't go perfectly? How can I adjust and improve as I move forward? By making the shift from perfection to progress, you allow yourself to embrace mistakes and setbacks as valuable learning experiences. Each step you take, no matter how imperfect, is moving you closer to your goal. 3. Use the 5-minute rule. When fear makes the task ahead seem insurmountable, the 5-minute rule can help you get started. Commit to doing just 5 minutes of the task you're avoiding. Often, once you start, the resistance fades, and you'll find that you can continue far beyond the initial 5 minutes. This simple trick works because it eliminates the pressure of having to do everything at once while still getting you moving. The 5-minute rule can be applied to anything: writing, exercising, making that difficult phone call, or starting that project you've been avoiding. The key is that once you take the first step, you often find it easier to continue. Action breeds motivation. Rule 4. Visualize the benefits of taking action. Fear tends to magnify the potential negatives of any given situation, what could go wrong, how you might fail, or how others might perceive you. Combat this tendency by consciously focusing on the positive outcomes of taking action. What will you gain by stepping forward? How will it feel to finally break through your fear and accomplish something you've been avoiding? Visualization is a powerful tool for shifting your mindset. By imagining the success and satisfaction you'll experience by acting, you give yourself a compelling reason to take the first step. These positive visualizations help reduce the grip of fear and increase your drive to act. 5. Accountability and support. Fear thrives in isolation. When you keep your challenges to yourself, it's easy to stay stuck in your fear. One effective way to turn an action into motivation is by sharing your goals with someone you trust. This could be a friend, a mentor, or a coach. Knowing that someone is expecting you to take action can provide the necessary push to overcome fear and procrastination. Additionally, having someone to share your progress with can help you celebrate small victories and provide encouragement when you feel stuck. Accountability partners are a great way to turn an action into sustained motivation, turning fear into fuel. The biggest transformation comes when you learn to shift your relationship with fear. Rather than seeing fear as something to avoid, see it as a sign that you're on the right path. Fear is often a natural response to stepping outside of your comfort zone, and every time you take action in the face of fear, you build resilience and courage. Fear is not a barrier to your success, but a catalyst for growth. Every small step you take in spite of fear becomes an act of courage, and each act of courage strengthens your self-belief. The more you practice taking action, the more confident you become in your ability to navigate fear and uncertainty. Conclusion. Taking action in the face of fear isn't about eliminating fear altogether. It's about learning to act in spite of it. The power of small, courageous steps is that they create momentum, turning inaction into motivation and breaking the cycle of procrastination. Fear doesn't have to be a roadblock. It can be a powerful force that propels you forward if you are willing to face it head on. Remember, every journey starts with a single step. You don't have to have everything figured out or feel completely ready. The key is to take that first courageous step, no matter how small, and keep moving forward. Action creates motivation, and motivation creates progress. By embracing fear and acting anyway, you'll find that your potential is limitless.